Given the recent release of the new MechWarrior 5, it's probably a good time to delve back into the past to review one of the previous installments, one of the best games released in 2000, MechWarrior 4. Oh, fuck me, that's nearly 20 years ago. So why am I reviewing a game that's nearly old enough to buy a drink anywhere in the world? Basically, I have a confession to make. I'm a giant mecha fan. It's not something I'm proud of, but I've accepted me for me. Well, I haven't really. You see, it's an addiction. All you needed to do to get me to buy something was to slap the Battletech logo on it and I was in. I grew up playing the games, playing the board games and watching the cartoon. I literally bought everything. So, when the series kinda died out in 2002, I felt like a hopeless smackhead after the last dealer in the neighbourhood was shot in the knees. I was kind of upset, but I felt saved. I weaned myself off on the methadone that was the Heavy Gear and Zone of Ender series, played other games, and moved on. Now it's back though, it's brand new and shiny with a fan-driven Kickstarter and shit. So I'm hooked all over again, with the release of Battletech, a successor to the excellent Mech Commander series, and the MechWarrior 5 release. I felt it was a good moment to go back and revisit the series with one of its pinnacle games. Actually, it's not really in my opinion, that's MechWarrior 3, but 4 was the easiest one to get going on my computer and it's got some really good joystick compatibility for the full mecha experience, so let's run with that one for the time being. The game takes place during the Kintaris War Civil War, as you attempt to reclaim the throne from your cousin who sided with a foreign power and stolen your birthright. After surviving the initial surprise attack, you link up with some fellow resistance members and commence a guerrilla campaign. Your usual standard revenge fare, all delivered through the medium of big, gigantic, heavily armed death engines. I know the graphics look really jaggy, games from this period really haven't aged well, but the core game mechanics are solid, and the combat is pretty hectic. In my recent replay I was very swiftly and brutally reminded of how frustratingly difficult some of the higher difficulty levels are, so I had to settle for medium difficulty just to be able to get more than the first 4 missions of review footage. Still, the graphics do a very good job of conveying the very sheer sense and scale of size you'd expect from piloting a giant mech. The missions comprise your usual standard fare of escort, attack and base defending objectives. Yeah, look, they're not raising the fucking narrative bar here lads, it's a MechWarrior game. You're pretty much there to blow shit up, not to die, and have a fucking good time doing it. After each mission, you'll get some salvage, which can be used to alter the layout of your mechs. This allows you to tailor your mechs to each mission requirements. Go all out for ballistic weaponry, and you'll be punching holes through everything you see until you run out of ammo, and then your mech is basically just a fusion-powered paperweight. Go with energy weapons, you'll be generating huge amounts of heat, which could shut your mech down in the middle of a firefight if not checked properly. This tinkering element is balanced quite well with the action. You don't even need to mess around with anything, you could just plow on regardless through the stock variants of each mech and have just as much fun. It's up to you. There's not as many customization options as in MechWarrior 3 though, it's actually been quite toned down for this one, but there's still lots to fuck around with, and it's balanced out with more mech models than in the previous game, particularly if you load up the Inner Sphere and Clan Mech Pack add-ons, which I heartily recommend you do. The mechs themselves all handle uniquely, which considering the sheer amount of them is an accomplishment in itself. You'll quickly find yourself latching onto a few favourites which complement your particular style of play, and that really helps with the game's immersion. The storyline itself is quite decent and helps to keep you invested in the goings on of the game outside of just running around and blowing shit up. Okay, it's not Ibsen, but fuck it, there's giant robots and shit. There's certainly far worse storylines out there, even today, not just back in 2002, and the Battletech series does have the advantage of a colossal amount of game world lore to draw upon and really flesh everything out. Gameplay wise, the game still handles fairly well. It's a tried and tested blend of simulation and all out gunplay that the MechWarrior line seems to have mastered quite well. The controls are smooth and the game runs like a charm, if you can get it running nowadays. I had no issues, but there's an epic Reddit thread devoted to getting it running on modern computers. However, I had the game when it first came out, and I don't remember having a single issue with it at all.
Scratch one launcher. Let's nail the other one. Looks like they got a lot of ammo on board those things. We better stay clear of the blast or we may take some damage.
The issues are, however, in the AI. The computer opponents aren't exactly the smartest, and alternate between complete fucking morons who could barely dress themselves in the morning, and dead-eye snipers who can pick you off at a quite frankly ridiculous range with an obscene level of accuracy. Either way, there's not much in the way of tactics from the enemy, other than to try and smoke you from a distance and then circle strafing you into oblivion. There's also an arena mode, which, while fun for a bit, is quickly rendered very boring by the terrible AI. The different worlds or biomes also have an effect in each mission. Swamps will make it difficult to get around, giving an advantage to jump jet equipped mechs. Vacuums and icy conditions will help your mech cool off a lot better, whereas deserts will heat things up much quicker. Using the environment to your advantage can be really fun. A good trick for a warm biome is to clad your mech out in a plate of armour which resists ballistic weapons better, forcing your enemies to use a laser heavy loadout. Then sit back and laugh as they struggle to manage their heat levels and stop their mechs from blowing. Either way, if you've bought MechWarrior 5 already and want to see where it all came from, or if you just want to go back and wallow in nostalgia, then you've no reason not to get this. It'll only be a couple of hours, maybe 8 to 10 or 12 depending on how you adapt, with an extra 5 or so for the Mercenaries add-on. Quick, fun and comforting, it's like an old t-shirt you just love slipping into every now and again. Welcome to the future, pal.
This is Michael, Attack Control. We're showing a clear scope. We got nothing for 50 clicks. I think you got them all.
Confirmed. You did it, Omega. The base is ours. Dropship inbound. Salvage, move in and